I just spent the last few weeks doing something that I do twice per year, a complete audit of my business. I wasn't looking at opinions or what the latest business gurus were telling me to do. I was looking at my own data, and what I found changed where I'm going to be spending my time over the next 6 months. But the funny thing is, it reminded me exactly why so many women stay stuck in perimenopause. So let's get into it. You may have noticed I took a few weeks off from releasing new episodes, and that was for 2 reasons, really. One, I just needed a break, and I try my best to practice what I preach. Stretching yourself too thin isn't a good look in perimenopause. And number 2, it was so that I could really focus on this summer business audit. Twice per year, I take a pause, I zoom out, and I look at the actual data. I ask questions like, where are my clients actually coming from? What is giving me the biggest return on my time? And what am I spending hours on that isn't actually moving the needle? And this summer's audit surprised me, and it reminded me of one of the biggest mistakes that I see women making in perimenopause. Business and health had the exact same problem. Too much information and not enough clarity. So it's hard to know what actually applies to you. And my audit showed me something that I had suspected for a while, but hadn't really confirmed. My number one source of new clients is this podcast, not Instagram, where I spend quite a bit of time. Now, Instagram isn't bad. It's just not where most women decide that they trust me enough to work with me. Yet I was still spending hours every week trying to keep up with the freaking algorithm, posting consistently, making reels, which take forever, by the way, because that's what everyone says you're supposed to do. Sound familiar? Because women do this with their health every single day. Someone online says that magnesium changed their life. Somebody swears it was progesterone. Another woman says it was fasting. Somebody else says it was peptides or seed cycling, cutting gluten, cold plunges, or wearing a continuous glucose monitor. The internet is full of people saying, this is what fixed me. And look, maybe it did. I'm genuinely happy for anyone who finds something that helps them. But these people are not you. One person's success story is not evidence for your body. And that's where so many women get stuck. Not because they aren't trying or because they're not motivated to create change, but because they're building their health based on somebody else's blueprint. Look, a lot of midlife health advice that you see online isn't necessarily wrong. Strength training, great. Walking daily, fantastic. Eating enough protein, absolutely. Getting enough sleep, please do. These things are foundational habits supported by a lot of research. That's why I talk about them over and over again here. But once you move beyond those basics, your plan should stop looking like everybody else's because your hormones, your thyroid, your blood sugar, mineral status, stress load, medications, health history, budget, and even your bandwidth, none of those are going to look exactly like the woman whose Instagram reel went viral. That's why copying her plan or anybody else's doesn't guarantee that you're going to get those same results. In my business, I realized I had been making some decisions based on assumptions. I assumed Instagram was driving more business than it actually was. The data told me a different story. So instead of adding more, another platform, marketing strategy, or shiny object, or putting more time and effort into Instagram, I made a much simpler decision to double down on what's already working and stop wasting energy and time on what isn't. And I only knew that because I looked at the data. Not a hunch or intuition, and not what everybody else was doing, my own numbers. And honestly, I think that's one of the best reminders that I got, not just in business, but in health. We are constantly tempted by shiny objects. Every week, there's another miracle product, another hormone expert, another supplement, expensive test, or some influencer promising that this thing, that whatever it is that she's using, is finally the missing piece for you too. Can some of those things be helpful? Sure. But before you ask, does this work? You should probably be asking, does this make sense for me? Those are 2 completely different questions. And I see this all the time inside my coaching practice. Women come to me after months or sometimes years of trying everything, the supplement stack, elimination diets, Facebook recommendations, some hormone protocol that their friend loved. They've spent hundreds, sometimes thousands of dollars, and they're exhausted, not because they didn't work hard enough, but because they kept chasing shiny objects instead of building from their own data. More effort in the wrong direction doesn't move you forward. It just makes you exhausted and frustrated. So what does looking at your own data actually mean? It doesn't mean ordering every trendy functional test that you see online. No, it means gathering information that's actionable. A thorough blood work review, looking at your metabolic health, thyroid, hormones, blood sugar, inflammation, and cardiovascular risk. It means understanding what your body is actually telling you. It also means looking at your minerals. This is one of the least glamorous topics in health. Nobody gets excited about mineral balance. It isn't sexy and it will not go viral on Instagram, but it's foundational. Think about building a house. You wouldn't spend thousands of dollars choosing the beautiful countertops if the foundation underneath was cracked. That's exactly what happens when women jump straight to health trends without addressing the basics first. So before you ask whether you need another supplement, peptide, or even hormone therapy, ask yourself, what does my foundation actually need? Because that's where lasting progress begins, not with more information, with better strategic information. And the discipline to ignore everything else that doesn't apply to you. And that's exactly why I built the perimenopause method the way that I did. Not because I think women need more supplements or complicated protocols, because they need clarity on what matters for them. Inside TPM, we look at your full picture. We assess mineral status, even though it's unsexy. We review comprehensive blood work. We look at your symptoms alongside your labs, and we connect the dots instead of treating everything in isolation. Then we create a plan that's built around your body, your goals, your lifestyle, and capacity, not somebody else's. Because your data should drive your decisions, not the algorithm, influencers, or Facebook groups, not even me. My job isn't to tell women to do the exact same thing. My job is to help you understand what your body is asking for. And that's a very different approach. So here's what I hope that you take away from today's episode. The internet will never run out of opinions. There will always be another expert, another protocol, another supplement, another person promising that they have found the answer. And you don't need to try all of them. You need to figure out which things actually matter for you. Because results and confidence don't come from collecting all this advice. They come from understanding your own body and knowing what steps to take. Stop guessing and start assessing. If you're tired of piecing together advice from strangers online and you're ready to build a plan that is based on your body and your needs, my team and I would love to help you. Applications for the perimenopause method are now open for August enrollment. You can find the link in the show notes. Thank you so much for listening. Keep advocating for yourself. Keep asking questions. Use discernment. And remember that you deserve healthcare that is personalized to you. All right, until next time. The information provided is for educational and informational purposes only. I am not, nor do I act as a doctor or any other medical professional. I am not providing healthcare, medical services, or attempting to diagnose, treat, prevent, or cure any physical, mental, or emotional disease or condition. The information shared is not intended to be a substitute for the professional medical advice provided by your own medical or mental health provider.